It's Banned Books Week again, that time of year when we are all asked to focus on the importance of intellectual freedom and to talk to our communities about the problems with challenging and banning books. This year's Banned Books Week theme is young adult materials, and unfortunately, 2015 has not been without examples of YA books being challenged and even banned. Some of the more recent examples include Ted Dawes' award-winning book Into the River, which has at least temporarily been banned from New Zealand. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot, that has been challenged by a Tennessee mother who feels that it is pornographic and was not content with having her son being given an alternative to read. And also Mark Haddon's The Curious Incident of a Dog in the Night, that was recently removed from a summer reading list after some parents complained. Examples like these news articles provide us with really great tools to start the conversations with our communities and colleagues about book banning and how we feel about it, hopefully with librarians and our fellow book lovers firmly in the anti-censorship corner. But there's another kind of censorship that I think probably happens a lot more often and is a lot harder to quantify, and that is self-censorship. Now, I'm not talking about the time you decided to hold your tongue and not make that really rude comment, or deciding not to read the book with the graphic sex or violence or whatever because you don't enjoy that. When I'm talking about self-censorship, I'm talking about when we choose not to add something to our library's collection, either because we personally don't agree with something in it, or because we are afraid that someone else in our community will challenge it. We know that self-censorship is happening, though as I mentioned before, it's pretty much impossible to say to what extent. But if you take a look around you, it's pretty easy to find essays and articles and surveys on the subject, all of them saying that yes, this is happening and it's something that we need to talk about. Some approach the issue by interviewing both students and teachers about a specific work and the use it could have in a classroom. Others count up the number of times an award-winning but controversial book appears in libraries. And others have actually conducted surveys where they go out and ask, have you ever self-censored something? A great example of this is the 2009 School Library Journal survey that went out to school librarians. The survey showed that 70% of respondents had been influenced not to buy a book because of the possible reaction of parents. Another 23% stated that their own personal views had led them to not add something to their collection. Now you might be thinking, that's not censorship, that's just selecting. But there's a difference, and I think that Deborah Wellen, who conducted that survey and wrote an accompanying article that I really encourage you to read, she puts it really well when she says that some may argue that librarians are merely selecting what they feel are the best books for kids and that it's not censorship, but the key factor is one's intent. Self-censorship is happening when we decide not to order the book that's won all of the awards because the main characters are in a sexual relationship. Self-censorship is happening when we decide not to recommend an author's latest work to their #1 fan because the F word pops up now and again, and we personally feel that swearing is never appropriate. It's also happening when we decide to stick a label on our books saying that they're clean, meaning that they don't have any sexual content, violence, or drugs. But by doing so, we inadvertently label the rest of our collection dirty because they don't have that clean sticker. When all the reasons for self-censorship are added together, it equals a lot of books missing from our library shelves, and a lot of teens who don't get to read the book that might just be the one that makes them into a lifelong reader, or might be the one that helps them work through some difficulty that they're having that they weren't aware that anyone else could even understand. Or it might be the one that introduces them to new ideas or cultures that they've never experienced before and makes them a more empathetic and understanding person overall. This Banned Books Week, I want to challenge us all to not just look at those big flashy news articles about challenged and banned books, but to also look at our own actions and decisions for examples of self-censorship. Maybe it's not there, but maybe we'll think about a book that, after all, really should be part of our collection. And you never know, maybe that's the book that's really going to change somebody's life. Have a great Banned Books Week.